Whoa! How's it going, guys? So, a lot's happened in the last week. A lot of things like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We even had one of those. So, I haven't really done anything on this guy since the last time I worked on him, which should be somewhere in the stream archives, if you will. The thing that I want to go ahead and do, I'm just kind of going through and cleaning up real quick. You know, just some of these faces have triangles. And it's funny, I had an aha moment where I can't believe I totally didn't even think about the easy way to be able to make these. I had originally gone through and had just drawn out a curve using the dude, Matthew, how you doing? Yeah, I just originally drawn out the curve and whatnot, and it was just a pain. I drew out the curve and it just messed everything up. Okay, so that's messed up. Let's try this. Wrong way. Okay, so tonight I was thinking about going through. If you follow me on Instagram, you're probably aware of what I was, what I had mentioned earlier, and that is dealing with topology. I have a lot of different components to this dragon, and I want to be able to, let's turn it off so we can look at him. I want to be able to pose the dragon, the whole dragon, the body, the arms, the legs, everything. Hey Naleen, how you doing? Happy Holly. Yeah, it should be a good weekend. Or a good couple of days. I guess it's not really technically a weekend. But yeah, so this is kind of like where it's at now. So I want to get the rest of the dragon so that he has cleaned, well, get an entire dragon. What I've been working with, let's load in the scene so that we know what we got. Okay, so this is what I got it to last week. Had a cool bit of revelation, if you will, where I decided that it'd be cool to kind of flip the environment and then make it so that the two dragons are chasing, or, you know, not winning against a single opponent. But each of these dragons is made up of, you know, several block-in pieces. I've got this body, I've got these legs and feet. Everything's very rough and very not pretty yet. Not very usable. So what we want to do is we want to go through and take the dragon and, you know, make it so that it's one entire thing. The other thing I thought about doing is possibly taking the environment. Oh shoot. What was it that I was on top of? Was I on a face when I did that? That must have been a point. Make curve. Points. I wonder what that is. Purely because I'm interested now. Oh! Dude, did you see that? Okay, so make curve. So you click on point. Click on a point. Right? No? How is it working? Spacebar to end. Okay, click first point. click next point. There we go. There's one. Oh my goodness. Okay guys, this is cool. It's simple and it's, you know, it's, I don't know, you guys might think it's dumb, but this could totally open up some really cool things. This could be a really great way. Night Shadow, dude, how you doing? This could be a really cool way, for instance, if you have, if you wanted to be able to tie rope around something and you wanted to place it exactly in certain places, you can go ahead and you can, you know, make your points happen on specific vertices or whatever. And now let's see if I have my rope brush loaded. SMA rope, nope, doesn't look like it. Let's go ahead. We'll load that brush in just because it's pretty easy to get to. Must-haves, brushes, rope. Okay, so now I've got this rope piece. I just tap on, oops, tap on that curve, and bada bing, bada boom. Look at that. I mean, that didn't keep the points exactly where they were because the brush size is so different. So let's make it bigger. Yeah, you see that? So that's a great way to be able to like roughly place rope, but the at the same time, it doesn't look like it's the best because there are other ways to be able to really quickly put in curves. But that's kind of interesting to know that has that option. Anyway, we'll undid that. Let's just make sure we have no curves. Curve modifier, curve functions. Yeah, there's no curves. Okay, so no delete. Okay, so we're good. We're good. Yeah, it's from ZModeler with the point actions, Matthew. Yeah. You've seen the show Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix? It's so awesome. I haven't seen any of it yet. I'm not sure if I will watch it or not. I don't know. It kind of depends on time and things. Right now, I'm super into Gotham and really enjoying that. Let me see, Control-Shift-A. Let's just unmask that. And then what I want to do, let's kind of take this down here, and we're just going to kind of angle that a little bit more. I'll get into the topology for the dragon here in just a minute. Just sometimes I get distracted. You know what I mean? You know what, maybe I shouldn't tilt it so much, or maybe I'll just pull it out. Okay, I'll take this, just kind of bring it over, grab this, bring it over. How's everybody's week been? Characters are so amazing animation. I bet. I mean, it looked like they were pretty experimental and got a lot of different styles in, so that's pretty neat to me. I'm kind of interested to see how that works. That is right? You know, they did like some sort of. I mean, not in the same way that Spider-Man did it, but it seems like I remember seeing the trailer and like they had, what's it called? Like lots of cool animation styles. Okay. Okay, so what we want to do, let's do this. I'm going to take, which dragon is it? 2? Oh, look at that. I forgot that I had the old stuff in here still. Scroll down some. Okay, so I'm going to have to like merge some of these pieces together. I do want to take this top dragon into the dragon file, so that way I can go ahead and I can compare sizes, make sure that this size that I have on this guy is different, or that it's the same as the one that I'm building. So that way I can bring it in and I don't have to worry about scale issues. I can just worry about posing, which that's what we want to be able to do. Okay, so we got those. So let's see, not split, we'll go merge down. Okay. Okay, so we got this guy. We need the head. We're gonna make it dragon blocking. Too many bugs. I might pop myself in the face. Okay, it says that one or more subtools are partially hidden, and I found it. Okay, so we're just going to delete that. We don't need none of that. Okay, so let's go up here, merge down, and we'll call it good. Alright. Cool. So there's our blocking piece. Ruthon. Let me see. Okay. Just here modeling a toy race car. Hey, toy race cars? Pff, awesome. How do I like using the new folders? Love it. Good morning, Ruthon in the UK. And all our other friends in the UK. How to convert poly paint into a texture map. That'll definitely be something that I show at some point. I know that Michael Pavlovich does stuff like that a ton. Right now what I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to get this and kind of move it over. Yeah, okay, we're good. So we can get, let's say, append our dragon. So now we got, kind of looks like a mommy dragon and a baby dragon. Woot! Sci-fi Spartan helmet. That's pretty cool. Okay, so here's what we got to do. Okay, I want to, let's turn on our pizza boxes. This is very true. The dude is phenomenally fast. Yeah, he is done in like 2 seconds. This is very true. Like, not even exaggerating. This is very true. Which is part of why he's so nice to watch. Let me see. Okay, let's turn off symmetry. I didn't realize I had symmetry on this guy. It's like, good night. Okay, so I got him just a little bit too small. Just gonna them just a little bit bigger. Okay. Let's turn off the pizza boxes. Now we should be good to go. Polygroups can transfer from ZBrush to Maya. I don't remember how that's done, but yeah, you can do it. So you have selection sets inside of Maya. Yeah, the mics always pick up the fans. That's not something I'm going to be able to get around. I'm sorry. I wonder. I'll have to play with. I have a real mic. I'll have to go through and play with that at some point so that yeah. Oh, that's good to know. There's an Ask ZBrush video about it. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Zoe. I think that's helpful. All right. So, I think we have the head of the dragon about how we want it now. It's always kind of tricky because it's like, I don't want that. It's always kind of tricky because this dragon, I've already gone through and kind of posed him, and so he's, some of the geometry in the head has kind of been, twisted and warped. But then this guy is just neutral, so, very different. Alright, so let's go ahead, let's pull out a body. It sounded so morbid. Okay. I am going to, let's come down here, arm. Let's do this. This could be useful. Let's do the arm. Get it resized so that it's about the right size, and then we can go ahead and we can retopologize it. Let's see, looks pretty good. Okay, so let's work on retopology for this thing. Okay, there are several ways that you can go about doing topology for your, let me see. Yeah, no, if you're, if you guys want to share links, that's totally fine. So long as it's, appropriate and, yeah. Reminds you of the dragons from Avatar, Airbender. Oh, dude, yeah, that helmet's turning out pretty cool. Kind of has some Boba Fett vibes to it. Alright. So now I got this. I don't know exactly where this is going to need to be placed. I do know that I'm going to want to have it rotated away from the body. Okay, Space Marine. It almost sounds like it would be a character from, what's it called? Halo. Okay, something like that. This will just help in kind of blocking out placement. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and let's figure this out. I don't need the rest of the other stuff there. Okay, so a couple of different ways that I handle topology inside of ZBrush. First things first, I can hide these nails. I don't mind them. So what I'll do is I'll hide them, split them. Okay. This way I've got my nails ready. Or talons. I'll say talons. Talons. Okay. And I mean, they'll have to be rearranged and everything like that. Because once I go ahead and work out the topology of these hands, it's going to I want to see what Zoe's working on. Dude, the detail. That's cool. I love that. I don't even know what to call it. The apron piece, the girdle, the thing going in front of his lap. I like the scales on that. It's really, really cool. Is that a weave? Looks more like a weave. But yeah, really super cool. That's going along nicely, dude. My internet window's being too big. Yeah, Champions Bill. Be the new what's it called? The new ZBrush Live Sculpt Off belt. Cool. Okay, now we're good. All right, so a few ways I handle topology, okay? The way that I'm going to use right now, because I already have a piece that I sculpted, I will probably go through, I'll Dynamesh it together, okay? So let's just go ahead and we'll just work through it. Yes, we'll Dynamesh it. Dynamesh to the rescue.
There's no need to fear. Dynamesh is here.
Okay, let's check and see what the lowest resolution will give us. That's default is not low enough. That's better. Okay. Cool. So now that this is all one piece, I can go through, I can focus on kind of unifying the forms. Okay. That might be good enough for what I need right now. We'll see. Then I can come over here and let's we'll just tweak it a little bit for the sake of having it tweaked. Okay, so first thing I want to do, I want to eliminate this end. Okay, I don't need the end. I'm going to be going through and using a Z-remesher. Let's go ahead, let's use slice, so Control Shift, and then we'll just get rid of that. Modify topology, delete that hidden. Alright, cool. So what we want to do is I want to establish polygroups. Okay, polygroups will go through and they will help to drive Z-remesher for me. And when I do that, I mean, there are some things that it's going to take me really close to the final result of what I want, but it will not take me all the way, you know. Okay, so let's try something like this. Just going to kind of take this over here like this. Just kind of might be a little bit too far. Let's try that. All right. Right here, what I'm looking for is I'm trying to keep a stylized shape. Right now I only have to worry about the silhouette more than anything, because it'll be a lot easier to tweak the forms and the overall, you know, the forms to tweak the forms and the relations. Once I get come on. Once I get the topology in there, and it'll be the rough topology. When you go through and use ZBrush, it's not going to be the end of your process, but you know, whatever. So group masked, I want to change this polished up to 1. This is what happens. The group masked is what happens when we hit Control W and we have something masked. So I'm just gonna, yeah, it might be too big. I'm just trying to come in. We'll just get these nail spots. Okay, Control W. You see I went through and it polished out those. Here's something else I gotta do. I gotta make sure I have a duplicate, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to project if I need to. So yeah, we're gonna make sure that we follow our process. Okay. And in fact, here's what I'll do. I'll go ahead and I'll delete. Nah, I won't delete. I do want to go through and slice through. Not yet. Let's get a polygroup for the bottom of each toe. This will hopefully help us so that we have good kind of ring flow on the bottom, but also make it so that hopefully let's connect it. Make it so that it goes together when we ZBrush. Let's try that out. That'll work. Okay, so now just hit Alt in the middle of these toe spaces. Okay, so that's getting me a little bit of a flow. Good. Look at that. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to select that, mask, Control W. Now we can get these two all in the same. Okay, we do want to create one right here, just a slice. What that'll do, maybe not right there. Let's angle it this way, because that'll help to keep it more in the same direction of the way that I want the topology to flow. Same thing down here at the wrist. Okay. This is a very crude way to kind of lay things out, but it's a start. Okay, so what we want to do, we're going to come over here. Let's go to our geometry, and we're going to try it out. We're going to say keep groups. We'll turn off adapt. Let's turn our adaptive size all the way down. We might turn it back up later, but we're going to try it like this for now. Okay, got something. Let's take this target polygon count. Let's take it down to 1. Oh, come on. This drives me nuts. It's like my computer, for some reason, doesn't like to keep numlock turned on. And so it's always going through. Yeah, we're getting something of a start. It's always going through, and I have to continually turn on numlock every time I open up my computer. Kind of a pain in the butt. I always have infinity duplicate mesh of old stuff. Yeah, yeah, I'm a subtool hoarder too. I'm writing it down. That's funny. It should be a T-shirt. Subtool. Hoarder. Thank you. Okay, so I mean, right off the bat, we'll notice that this is not usable. We do have things here that are usable. Like, I love the way that the arms are starting to come out. Let's turn off keep groups just for the sake of seeing what happens. That's too low. Well, it turned out a little bit better. The topology down here on the hand is not nearly as good. So one of the things that we can do, okay, because let me see how many. I wonder how many faces we have going around there. It might be too many for what I want to be able to do. So let's try a different technique. One of the things I like to do. Oh, you know what? We could just use this. Control Shift D. Okay, just to be able to keep it, because we're hoarders of subtools, right? Go to Custom Ink. Go to Custom Ink. Is that what's causing my numlock problems? Let's okay, so right here, at this point, this is an opportunity for us to go through and use our strokes option. I'm going to hit 7. Okay, and what that does is that's going to outline all of our polygroups. Okay, which is really, really useful. I learned that one from Louis Tucci. Hi, Louis. Okay, so let's do one more slice kind of coming along here. Let's maybe do it a little bit closer up here. And you know what? Let's do one going through each of the knuckles. And that'll be nice. My wife doesn't want you to know she's here. It's okay, this camera is the one that's being used, so. Hey, howdy, hey, Chris. For the t-shirt. Oh, Custom Ink for the t-shirt. It's a company for t-shirts. That'd be funny. That would be funny. I'm just gonna go through and I'm gonna try to add some divisions in places where it could be helpful. Add one kind of going right up the center of the arm. Oh, I should have thought about that. Do it from the same angle that I did the original ones. Oops. Come on. Spacebar, when you're using these tools, it'll allow you to kind of move where it is. So it's nice, it's helpful, it's just irritating to a matter of controlling it, I guess. Alright. So now we have a start for our topology. I love you. Thomas is here. Dude, how you doing, brother? How you doing? Let's come over here. Let's grab our topology brush. So now that we have this, okay, I'm not going to start with the topology up here because this is already kind of started. Okay. As soon as I start laying in topology, it's going to essentially activate. You see that? It just deleted one of those edges and it activated the topology. So what I want to do, okay, this thumb, I want to treat it as an extension out. Same thing with this finger possibly. These fingers down here, I want to create, if I can, I'm just going to start on the bottom. Just kind of trail it over. Okay, so that's the top of that. Let's actually take these. And we'll just trace it all the way over to the opposite end. So you see how we're starting to get something coming in here. What we want to do is we want to make sure that we have four-sided polygons. And the reason why when we're the reason why we want to do four-sided polygons is that let me see if I can. I don't have any paper. What's wrong with me? Oh, here we go. Here we go. I just shook the camera. You had to jump out of the room, Rethon. Okay. Oop. Putting too much pressure on all of the paper, or on the Wacom, rather. Okay. Cool. So, the thing that having four-sided polygons lets us do is it allows us to have kind of an accordion effect. It's really easy to bring, you know, when you're deforming, when you're animating, when you're posing, all of that. This geometry, if you have parallel lines, they're going to be able to move together and apart really, really easily. And this is why when we're working on meshes for animation, I mean, let's take a look at the head. I need to get rid of some meshes because they don't all matter. So you can see, like, I have a few things kind of going on here, all of which seem to be a little bit difficult to use. But if I were to create eyelids for this guy, dragons don't have eyelids, especially not candy ones. But if I did, I would use this pattern of these loops going around the eye to be able to make that happen. Same thing going around the mouth. You can see I've got this, actually let's use this. There's no point in us. So you can see I've got these green loops going around the mouth. I don't want. Let's use that. That'll be nicer. Okay, so what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to control this flow. This flow is having that nice continuation of edges going around the edge of the lips helps to keep a uniform shape. Okay, it also helps if I were to make any kind of expressions, like if I were to make, let me see, do I have another? Yeah, I do. Okay. So that's a lot easier to work with. But yeah, I mean, if I have this edge loop established, it helps me to better define things like planes and shapes. In fact, one of the things I want to do, let's say mask edge loop complete. Of course it has multiple. Oh well. Yeah, let's not worry about that for right now. It's not a huge deal. But yeah, so I mean, it would allow me to go through and control. Yeah, I can use different masking techniques to make quick, clean, efficient masks. I can use I can create nice, quick, easy polygroups for selection, so that I can start to, you know, do whatever I want to do with it, really. I don't know why I'd want to do that, but I could, you know. All sorts of easy things that you can go through and do and establish. It allows you to keep better organization on your mesh. It's like folders for subtools, but it's polygroups for for a mesh. Andres, if the topology is not for animation, is it fine to decimate? Yes. For instance, my project won't be for animation per se. The reason I want to have topology for it is that, what happened to the, the claws got, yeah, that's right, okay, whatever. The reason I want to have topology is that it allows me to to pose more easily and to keep my mesh clean. If you decimate, or if you use Dynamesh and you're posing a character, or you're posing, you know, pieces of the environment or whatever, unless you don't have to worry about literally like morphing the mesh. If it's just a hard surface piece that you don't have to worry about moving, but if it's a character or something organic, the nice thing about working with topology is that it's easier and cleaner, and it preserves your shapes better. Otherwise, you have to worry about the mesh kind of collapsing on itself, and I don't know. It gets messy. It just gets messy. So I really like going through and establishing my topology. In fact, I had a supervisor when I was working at Warner Brothers. He's extremely big on topology, and clean topology. If anybody knows Brian, he goes by B. Allen on ArtStation and anywhere else where you'd find him. You know what? That needs to connect to here. great guy, really talented, and really good with really clean topology. The topology is really, really helpful, again, to making sure that we can keep things under control. And that's the big idea of it all, is really just making sure that we maintain control in the best and easiest way possible. Not to say that it's wrong to do it one way or the other. Okay? It's just that, in my opinion, in my experience, it's cleaner and it's more efficient. Because the nice thing is that when I'm done with this, this then turns into something that I could use in production if I needed to. Okay, let's take that. So the trick with the topology brush is that if you draw out into, like, out past an edge, you either have to hold Alt and get rid of a stub if you have two stubs that you need to connect, or you need to carry it all the way through the next edge in order to connect it and really make it, you know, work. You know what? Maybe I'll just keep this four-sided down here. Oh, what fun it is to write. Okay, let me see. I'm going to want to do this. Let's do this like this. Now this is really, really messy at first. I mean, if we were to go through and look at really like what's happening with the actual geo, you can see a preview of it in orange. Oops. Where did it go? Oh, it connects right up there. Okay, so you see, so this is our endpoint. So we want to connect to that. Here's our tail. So we're just going to start by the endpoint, drag it up to that green point, and now it's connected. Okay. Just for the sake of making sure that this kind of connects where I want it to connect, I'm just going to get rid of it and draw it up here. That'll just make it a little bit cleaner. Okay. Similar idea, take this down, and take it over to here. Let's grab that here, and then we'll just drag that up there. Okay. Cleaner, more efficient. It's nice. Okay. They kind of look like moose antlers upside down. Yeah, I suppose so. Could be Bullwinkle. Okay, so say, Rocky. Okay, that's not connected. So let's just, oops. Let's do this, see if we can. Okay, that got connected, this did not, so let's try it again. There we go. The trick is that these lines, these topology lines that you draw out, they are not going to connect unless by these intersection points. So you see these lines that you're drawing out, these curves. These curves have segments. Okay, so you have black segment, orange segment, and it alternates. So those are intersection points. Okay, so those are the points where it's okay, or where you're capable of actually intersecting your topology. Okay, so let's see. Let's get rid of that, and that. There we go. Don't want that. Just gonna kind of draw an edge up the middle. I like to keep an edge running up along the middle between all the fingers. Okay, so we want this coming up, this coming up, this coming up the other side, this coming into it on the other side. Interesting. Okay, so one of the things we need to do, let's complete this. And you can see like the orange is changing as I'm completing more four-sided polygons. Okay, so as I come over here to the back, I can bridge these two together. It looks like it's creating some very weird topology in there, which is hardly desirable. So let's get rid of these. Let's connect that. Sweet, there we go. Now it's connecting. Now we're good. Or should be, hopefully, in theory, right? Okay, so that's starting to make some connections. So yeah, it's a slow-going process, but if you do it right, this will save you a ton of time. In other areas, in other aspects of your modeling. Oops. Which that is the goal, because I don't want to be spending too much time posing and re-sculpting and things like that. Topology is one of those things that's a fantastic tool to really be able to, that's too far back, just really simplifies your life, makes things clean. We like clean. Yeah, see, there's that problem again. So since we have this, we'll just connect that. We have a problem there, so let's connect that. Is that like even working? Okay, let's see, we're gonna come up. Okay, I am going to need to create an edge kind of coming up this way. Reason is that I need to be able to create kind of a five-pointed star right here. I think. Let me think about that actually. Okay. You know what? I think instead what I'll do, instead of adding in these intermediate edges, we'll just go ahead and we'll add them some other way. We'll add them when we subdivide. Yeah. Let's subdivide. Okay. Let me see, this one's gonna be kind of, I'm just trying to figure out, okay, so we need to get Okay, I see. So let's just take these. We're just going to draw them back. Okay. Oops. Okay, let me see. So we've got this going on. Cool. Now let's see if we can get this happening the way we want. Take this, complete it up at the top. The same thing. Complete that. Okay. Let's do a similar thing here. What we're gonna do, let's take, here's an idea. Let's take these just straight across to this guy. Since we have partial here, we're gonna do that. Clean it up, partial, finish it. Okay. What do you think about Retopo Flow, free plugin from Blender? Haven't used it. I don't use Blender. You know what? Maybe I'll take these fingers across to here instead. I think that'll be better. Yeah, I mean, I haven't used Blender since 2006. When I was first getting into ZBrush, or not into ZBrush, into Maya, into 3D. Okay, so one of the things that we're going to have to do, we're going to have to figure out how we can kind of incorporate this edge flow. I want to make sure that we can kind of keep the bone structure on the back of that hand. So I'm going to have to think about, maybe I'm going to have to think about rethinking. I mean, I'd gotten rid of that edge down the center so that I didn't have to worry about some stuff, but looks like I'm going to need to bring it back in. And I think that if I were to create a flow that kind of comes up and over, okay, so this is coming over here. So what we want to do is we want to continue this down. And this can come over here. Let's just kind of complete that bottom part a little bit. We're going to need something in order to be able to get rid of this and have something to go back to. Okay, so we're just going to take this edge, continue it down. Man, too many points. one of the tricky things is figuring out the right size for your brush when you're doing this. I mean, right now it's not too my brush isn't too big, it's not too small, but it's not too big. And what it's allowing me to do is to have larger segments, which means that it's going to be, well, one, it'll be easier for ZBrush to think about it, but two, it's going to be interesting. Let me see. So, I mean, if I wanted to, if I make my brush smaller, it's going to make those segments smaller, okay? Which means that I'm also going to be able to connect possibly a little bit more easily. So maybe let's just do this. Okay, let's kind of pull that around. You see that? I went through and it connected clear over here, which is fine. I mean, it'll still work just fine for us. One of the things that's tricky though is that you don't want to be adjusting your brush size a whole lot when you are doing curves like this, when you're using the Topology Brush, because what's going to happen is that it's going, like if you have large segments, it's going to be harder to connect to those large segments if you have a smaller brush. So it's kind of nice to keep things fairly consistent, but yeah, we're just gonna keep going with this smaller brush, and saving is good. Okay, let's take that around, take that down, take it up, just to finish that flow right there. This section is really, really messed up. So messed up. Same thing, it went through and it connected right there. That's at that the joint space between the two segments. Okay. Okay. Okay, let me see. Go ahead and we'll draw this in. This is going to be a lot of like Somnio, ¿qué tal? Un somnio se refiere a alguien que no duerme, ¿verdad? It's interesting. I've been watching Gotham on Netflix. Love that show. I like shows like that where it's like supervillain mystery type shows. Yeah, and it's cool to see it as like the origin story of Commissioner Gordon. So yeah, I mean, if you haven't watched it, you should watch it. It gets tricky after a while to work on topology like this, because it just starts to get really kind of crowded. You get to see too much orange. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll separate out the pieces that I've gotten topology done for, and then I'll just start working on making the rest of the piece from that, which I might go ahead and do here in just a minute, because I recognize this isn't the most exciting it's not the most exciting thing to watch. Okay, let me see. So that one's kind of coming up over here like that. I want to make sure that this one's doing the same thing. Okay. So that's going to be a 5-pointed star for me right there, which is going to be fine. Okay, so this right here is going to become 5-pointed star coming off over this side. This needs to go over here. And then let's figure this part out. Okay, so we got our 5-pointed star here and here. Yeah, that needs to be kind of relocated a little bit, but we'll worry about that when it's actually mesh. Okay, from here, let's just go ahead. I'm probably going to go ahead and just start working on making this actual mesh. So, now you know what? We're going to keep that the way it is. So to be able to make this mesh, okay, I'm going to take my draw size all the way down to 1. I'm just going to tap until I get this, okay, which gives me it's going to mask out the original form, and it's going to give me this brand new low poly mesh. That's exactly what I drew out on my thing. So let's go ahead and split unmasked points, hit my down arrow, and this is what we got. Okay, all that for a lump of bread. Just kidding. Let's turn this off because we don't need it. Okay, that's kind of shoot. Just want this pink part. Okay, so I'm just going to come down geometry. Let's delete hidden. Okay, now it becomes a lot of Z modeler for a minute. The important part now is to make sure that I got the topology flow the way I want it. Oops. And then to go through and establish form and shape. Okay, so we got that. Orale. Okay, get that and that. And essentially one of the things that I want to go through and do, one of the things I need to make sure of is that I get the toes to be pretty much the same. It's not a life and death scenario, but it's one of those things where it's one of those things where we're going to want to make sure that they're similar enough, or that they are the same, so that when we add edge loops, oh come on man, first point, second point, there we go. See, you can be taught new tricks. Here we go. Yeah, so this is kind of what we go through and we do. Bridge edges. Not everybody works this way. Some people will go through and they will do all their hey Brett. Yeah, ZBrush is amazing. A lot of people will go through and they will do their topology all inside of like Maya, or they'll do stuff inside of whatever other program. Okay. So there are a lot of different ways that you can do things. But the thing that I like about this technique is just kind of cathartic. Might be a dumb reason to like a particular process, but I'm doing this on my own time, not on the professional clock, so oh well. Sometimes people might have faster ways, and depending on like what you're needing it for, like who was it? Oh, Andres Mora. He was asking about it. The topology is not for animations. If I use decimate. When I was at DreamWorks, one of the things that we would do is that if we were working with rocks, quite often we would just decimate things, or we would use ZBrush, or just use something simple to be able to get a really simplified version of the mesh, so we can hand it off, so we can UV it and hand it off to surfacing. There are other times, like I did some contract work for Red Interactive a few years ago, before I was at Warner Brothers, and one of the things that I did for them was a game for Hasbro called Beyblades. And one of the quick and easy ways to be able to kind of get those pieces, they were just little hard surface pieces for a top, it's not something that's going to be doesn't need to deform or anything like that. It just needs to spin, and it needed to be under a certain polygon count, and it needed to be triangles anyway, so we were able to go through and just decimate those and really quickly have the topology we needed for a mobile game. So it's not going to work like that for every piece you do. Like I said, it was something that's not going to deform, but let me see, collapse poly loop. Okay, so we're going to have that. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to bridge edges. This one's going to be kind of going around that outside, so now I need to insert, oh, not slide, please not slide, stitch, or stitch. Okay, so now we've got this thing going on, which is what we needed. Okay, now we can bridge these edges together. Let's get these together. Insert single edge loop. Gets kind of tricky sometimes when you have overlapping geometry and you're trying to get stuff to work. You put your left foot in, you put your left foot out, you put your left foot in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Doobie-doo-boo. Okay, let's bridge edges. Okay, so far, I don't really know much about what's going on here. I do know that that's the other toe. I don't know exactly what that form is supposed to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish this part for now. And the reason why I want to do that is because it's just going to allow me to have just a little bit more of my mesh ready to go. Just kind of stitch these down. I know I say it a lot, guys, but I love ZBrush. It's such a great tool. Such a great tool. Someday, it'd be really cool to be a ZBrush cowboy. ZBrush cowboy is somebody who uses just ZBrush. At the moment, there are other things I need to be able to do professionally that, and I guess even personally, that I can't just have ZBrush as my exclusive tool of of whatever. However, you know what, let's go ahead, let's Control W, get that all the same polygroup, and let's get rid of that creasing. However, yeah, I have been able to find new ways to be able to use ZBrush at work, and that's pretty cool. I can't really talk about it without revealing stuff, but yeah. There's probably stuff I can say, but whatever. Okay, so part of what I'll do, once I get the palm of the hand done, I'll probably go ahead and I'll inset, like I'll create a polygroup on those bottom faces, and then I'll inset it and kind of pull it out some. And that'll help to give me a little bit more continuity in the palm of the hand. And I'll probably also inset and pull out the pads on the fingers. I want to make sure that I can. Okay, I need to inflate this a little bit. Just a great simple little way to be able to make sure that you can see what you're doing. Okay, let me see. Cool, so that's the hole where the fingernail is. That's good to know. So let's make sure that we kind of line things up just a little bit better. Okay, I've got to get rid of, I'm going to get rid of this piece right here. Say delete. Okay. Okay, cool. Let's go to transparent mode. Okay, so I know that this is fingernail, which means that this is going to need to loop down and around. Okay. Cool. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We can bridge those two. Okay. Okay, so now we know that we need to insert edge loop here. I don't know why West Side Story songs are the ones that most get stuck in my head. What songs get stuck in your head? You know what? I want to get rid of... I need to add in an extra edge loop. Let's go back to bridge. Okay, the reason I wanted an extra edge loop is so that I can come up here and do this one. Insert. Okay. Stitch. Starting to do something. Alright, so now we can go ahead and we can bridge these together. Okay, so you can see how it's starting to turn into something. Okay. This is the fun part. Okay, let's see. Let's bridge these. And it's already going down there, so let's do this now. Orale! Alright. So yeah, this is offering me the range of motion that I would need. Okay, so these fingers have this kind of, you know, we have those four-sided polygons, that the accordion ability going sideways, which is great because then I can make the fingers go like this. Okay. Technically, it also has the edge loops going this way, top to bottom. You know, front tip of the finger toward the base of the finger, which allows it to bend. Okay, to be able to bend, and when you're bending, when you get that finger bending, it gives you a little bit of that accordion action with whatever edge loops you have going around the knuckle. Okay, so the edges on the top of the knuckle are going to expand, and then you're going to see areas of compression on the inside where it's bending together. Okay, so that's important when you're looking at topology and trying to figure the topology out. Okay, it's gonna. That's a distracting color. I like that better. There we go. Saludos a Peru. Alright. Peru, Peru, Peru. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to want... Here's kind of a trick to be able to get... Well, shoot, that's not even where I want it. Oops. Come on. There we go. Just want to make sure that that's going in the right loop. Anyway, so I can take this and let's say, nope. Nope. Oh, that's not what I want. So let's say Q mesh, but I don't want to actually use the Q mesh. I want to go into the edges. Let's just say insert single edge loop. Okay, so that'll be nice. Let's actually take this. Let's stitch that to that one. Oh, actually, no, I want to bridge it. Let's bridge it. Let's bridge it, Jones. Okay. You know what? That's not even what I'm going to want to do with that. Okay. Let's focus on expanding out this thumb over here. We'll do that, and then we'll come back to other things. Okay, so I'm going to bridge these together. Okay. Somnio on YouTube is saying, I don't understand much about animation and how topology works. No entiendo mucho de la animación y cómo funciona la topología. La topología, las líneas, las edges, están para poder ayudar a que cuando la malla se forma, o cuando dobla, o cuando gira, lo que haga, está para poder ayudar a que lo haga sin hacer una forma que tú no deseas, pues. Y es difícil a veces hacer que todo salga perfecto, pero generalmente vas a querer hacer que estas líneas salgan más o menos pues juntitos, que salgan una línea al lado de la otra. Y eso ayuda a que cuando mueva, mientras esté moviendo para la animación y todo eso, que la forma que se produce, que salga, pues que salga bien, sobre todo, pero que se puede predecir, pues, digamos. Es fácil de saber cómo será la forma si podemos controlar las líneas paralelas. Esa es la buena palabra, sí. Thank you. Así que en eso trabajo yo, en asegurarme de que la topología sea útil para eso. Okay. Che pibe, ¿qué pasa? Un saludo para ti también pues, ¿de qué parte de Argentina? Es que yo hice misión para la iglesia en Chile, en Concepción. Así que no conozco muy bien a Argentina, pues, pero lo amo igual. Tengo muchos amigos de Buenos Aires, de Salta, pues, ¿de qué más? De varios lados, sí. Okay, let me see. Let's do this. We're gonna say split. See, that split is really pretty handy. A lot of these tools, a lot of these options are things that you're going to discover by playing, by really just trying to figure things out. That's how I figure a lot of things out, is just by playing, by getting things wrong so many times that, no, just kidding. Okay, so this, I'm going to have this kind of go over to the other side and connect with the space between the fingers. Okay, so this edge right here is going to connect over to here. Okay, so let's do that. Qué bueno que te pude sorprender. San Juan, Argentina. Cool. Nunca he hecho de animación, pero entiendo de escultura. Tal vez un día intente aprender un poquito. Pues sí, siempre vale la pena, porque pues poder hacer una cosa te va a ayudar a que puedas hacer la otra cosa de una manera mejor. Okay, same thing right here. I want a bridge. Bridge. Nope. Sorry. Whoa. Nope. That's the wrong one. That's not what I want. Nerds. Let's get rid of that again. Okay, cool. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. pull that up, pull this up, pull those up. Because I'm a doofus. Okay. So this needs to go back, but this needs to bridge over. Okay, so now we're good. So we can bridge that. No. To there. There we go. Got it. Okay, so now we got that going the way that we want it. Sweet. Así es la cosa. Así es la vida, pues. Así es la vida. How do you bridge high poly to low poly? So, one edge at a time. No, so one of the things that I'm going to have to do before I can connect the hand to the arm is I'm going to have to make the arm higher resolution, which is fine. Yeah, I need that anyway. But the other thing that I need to do is take if there are too many edges going around the wrist, the cutoff on the hand, I need to kind of figure out how to resolve some of those things. So some of that can include things like how you use topology to describe the forms on the inside of the hand. It won't be a human hand, obviously, and it's more gecko-like, and so that's kind of more the route I'll be going with it. But similar principles kind of tend to apply. See, I do this really funny thing when I'm in concentration mode, where like my mouth kind of droops open. ¿Te gusta más la animación tradicional, como de dibujo, de bosquejo, o de greda, como los del estudio de Laika? Porque ellos también usan como recursos digitales para poder crear a sus personajes y todo eso, y luego lo imprimen y lo arman para poder pues mover despacito, pasito a pasito, paso a paso. Beso a beso, me enamoré de ti. Eche. Santi. ¿Ubicas a los peques? Cuando estuve en Chile, habían unos monitos que se llaman los peques. Son chistosos, sí. Pero lo ubicas. So one of the things that I like to do, one of the things that I find to be important, and that, you know, if you ask any supervisor out in the industry, they'll tell you a similar thing. You want to make sure that your topology is as square as possible. You know, that you make it as even as possible over your mesh. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to try to kind of walk it apart little by little as I go, because the more topology I have, the harder it is to control. It's kind of like what's easier to keep inside one cat or 500 cats. La Mona Jiménez. Ah, no la cacho. No la conozco. Los tequis. Los peques. Los peques. Con esqueleto en físico, plastilina, aunque también me gusta la idea de imprimir personajes articulados y ponerlos ropa, mezcla los dos mundos, sí. Pues sí. Es una manera muy buena de poder trabajar, una manera muy eficaz. Uno de mis compañeros, de mis mejores amigos, se llama Eric Sosa, mexicano. Él hace de eso. Como él tiene impresora de Formlabs. Y lo que él hace, bueno, su fundación se queda con la cera. Empezó con la cera, con greda y todo eso. Pero después de un tiempo, la industria, él hace juguetes y estatua de como superhéroe y todo eso. Después de un tiempo, de varios años de haberlo hecho todo en cera, él tuvo que cambiar y aprender a hacerlo todo digital, porque los clientes siempre querían poder cambiar pues el tamaño o varias cosas del juguete o de la estatua y todo eso, y le queda más sencillo hacerlo digitalmente. The answer is 0 cats. You are correct. Okay, so right now what it would look like if I were to turn on my dynamic subdivision, it's not really anything super spectacular yet, but it's starting to get to be something. Okay. This is kind of the tricky thing. What's nice though is that we're pretty much almost there. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead, let's say bridge edges. Okay, let's just take some of these. And we are going to say, yeah, I guess we'll say insert single edge loop. We'll stitch these two together. And then we'll just make it a poly group. And then we'll Q-mesh single poly. Pull that off. This is one of the things I like to do, is display double. This way I can see these extra pieces in here. Anytime you use like the extrude and those special funny little tools, it'll do some funny things if you have an open mesh, but yeah. It's good to have had you there, Santi. Thanks for stopping by. It's always fun when we have people here and there's some chat going on. Last week there wasn't really a whole lot of chat going on. Okay, actually, we don't even have to worry about bridging that. We do have to worry about bridging this. Okay, so now the cool thing about this, let's just get rid of these ones here, is that now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we have 12 edges going around there. I tend to really like to keep it down to 8, but 12 works just fine. Let me see. We had talked about going through and creating. We can do this. I don't want that. You see that? When I hit Control W, it made a new polygroup like it's supposed to, but it also went through and polished it, which I don't want to do. So what we're going to do, not that, polygroups, group masked, take down the polish. Now we can do that. All right. Okay, so I don't need this face right here. I do, however, need to, let's say insert single edge loop, and then we'll just kind of come through here, and we'll pull this down so that it's closer to the hand. And now we need to make sure that we have enough going into the arm to make sure that we can kind of keep up with everything else. So here's what we're going to do. Okay, let's kind of figure out how we want this to line up. Okay, so the top of the arm, I want it to line up with this center-ish area on the hand. Okay, so here's what we can do. ZBrush, not ZBrush, Z-modeler. Bleh. Bevel the edge loop complete. Okay, you see that? Now we got it lining up right here. So let's just say bridge. Okay, so now we have them connected. Okay. Yeah, I mean this sort of stuff is kind of what I live for. I love using ZModeler. I love doing my topology with ZModeler. It's kind of lame, I know, but hey, whatever. I end up with real topology in the end, so it's all good. Okay, let's go ahead. We're gonna insert single edge loop here to be able to connect these points. Same up here. Now let's go ahead and bridge. It's like all of this, it's really just a matter of figuring out kind of what's available to you. Just exploring, seeing what it is that different things will do, I was explaining earlier that I was playing around with the split edge function just because it caught my eye. I was curious what it does, so naturally I'm going to try it. And I did, and it was great. It's kind of like root beer, a nice fizzy sweetness that just kind of tickles your nose. Add a little, dollop of ice cream and you're good to go. Okay, let's kind of pull this over a little bit. Make sure that the flow is going where I want it. So I'm noticing that this is really, really high, and I kind of want to flip it so that it's a little bit higher, more kind of on this side. Okay, so I'm just kind of pulling this side down a little bit. Yeah, es como un puzzle. Rompecabezas, pues. Great to hear ZBrush is actually a good alternative to traditional 3D mesh app. Yeah, it's nice because, I mean, like, I've had to fork out money for a subscription, a 1-year subscription for Maya, and I love Maya. Don't get me wrong there, but my goodness, my goodness. Okay, so here's something I want to do. Right here, I've got all these edges here. I want to take it and I want to kind of use that to be able to make an elbow. Okay, so what I'm going to do, but then again, it could be cool to have that elbow coming down from the top. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. The only ZBrush Pro here that matches a love of sweets. Well, and the funny thing is, these dragons are going to be made out of sweets. Whoa! That's the best part. Okay, let's say bridge. Okay, bridge those two together. Okay, so I mean, I'm not going to worry about going through and adjusting these manually right now. Once I get this bottom one and this bottom one in, I'm going to actually go through and work on making an elbow piece, or like an elbow connection. Someday we'll find an elbow connection. Caramba la cosa. Okay, there we go. Get that. Got that. Sweet. Okay. So now that we have that, what I want to be able to do is right here in this area-ish. Okay, I want this to be turning into an elbow. So instead of having these edges just continuing up over there like that, I'm going to say collapse edge. Okay, we're just going to collapse these down. Okay, we'll work this out here. Okay, let's say it's interesting that that's doing that to me. I don't want it to be doing that to me. There we go. Okay, and remember how we have that split edge. Okay, so this is one of the fun things. So right now, these are triangles. Triangles are really kind of hard to work with. But it's easy enough to go through, and using split I can add a point, and that makes it a 4-sided polygon. Oops, that's not what I want. Right there, okay? So, in fact, let's, no, we'll keep it there, I guess. But I need to be able to see my mesh pretty alright. Bridge two edges together. Okay, there we go. Insert. Stitch. Okay, so or fairly quickly enough. I was able to take something that starts off as 12 and currently, let me see, I'm not sure exactly how many it'll end up with, but it'll end up with fewer than 12. So we were able to eliminate 2. So right now it would be ending up as 10 because we got rid of 2 edges coming out right here because of that resolution with the elbow. The rest of the edges will probably end up in there, but that's fine. That is indeed very, very fine. Bevel, I can just tap on that. That'll give me the same bevel as I had before, which is pretty excellent. Okay, just bridge these bad boys together. And I need to insert one more single edge loop, bridge, 1, 2. Alright, sweet. Okay. So now that I have these on here, I need to take these edges and I need to just slide them. Edge loop partial. I'm just gonna slide that down here like this. Kind of down to where it's kind of level with that. Okay, so this is kind of the start of an elbow, start of the arm. You know, there's still a lot to go through and do to tweak this so that it works right, but we are starting to have decent results. Okay. Pretty slick. And topology is one of those things that you want to play around with. You want to figure it out. You want to make sure that you have it doing what you need it to do. It's a tool. Are you streaming late? Usually I can't watch live streams here in Tokyo because they're always done at noon or in the mornings. Yeah, that's one of the tricky things. Yeah, I do always stream, well, California time, I stream at 8 o'clock p.m. Which I think in Tokyo, I think you guys are like 10 hours ahead, something like that. So yeah, that's like really early for you. But, you know. But yeah, I am consistently Wednesday evenings. So yeah, I mean, if you're around, it's always great to have you. Sorry, I don't speak Japanese. I mean, I could go on all day in Spanish, but they at work they do Japanese classes, which is really cool. But since I'm a contracted employee, I'm not actually contracted through Disney. It's not something that I can take advantage of yet. I'm working on trying to figure out trying to become a blue badge, as it were. So you're originally from California, so are you there as part of like a military family, or study abroad? What took you out to Japan? And don't say an airplane, because dude, I know an airplane took you. And what's your interest? What brought you to the live stream? Do you like watching the streams, or is it something that you're just discovering and you're trying to dabble around with? What's bringing you to the stream? Speaking specifically to Pigumon, but if anybody else wants to answer those questions, I'd love to hear about it. What brings you to the stream? Is it something that are you in the industry and you're just needing a work buddy? I know that a few of my friends that do freelance, they'll turn on the stream while they're working and they'll just work. It gets pretty distracting to me, so I try to limit it when I turn it on. But let's see. Thanks. So you're a graphic designer, had the chance to take a teaching job in Tokyo. Cool. Ended up going and staying. Go back to California twice a year usually. That's crazy. So you guys still have family out here, or you come back to visit the beach? Hey, loops. Hi there. Such a friendly message. I dig it. Okay, right now what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to roughly place the bottom of the hand. I want to make sure that the bottom of the hand, the top of the hand, I want to make sure that the edge flow is placed where I want it to really describe the form. Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying, Pigumon. Am I saying that right? Am I butchering your username? I like to make sure that I pronounce things correctly because one, I don't want to say anything offensive because if it's I don't know, sometimes you misread things and somebody's like, I'm offended by that. Other times it's just, sometimes it's based off of somebody's name or something important to somebody, so just want to make sure I'm saying things right. Okay, let's see. Both of those ideas are really, really cool, Pigumon. One of the cool things, so I don't know if you have seen his streams or not, and forgive me if I get the name wrong. I'm pretty sure his name is Mike. Oh, shoot. No, it's not Michael Pavlovich. It's, okay. Good. Thompson, Mike Thompson. I'm pretty sure that's his name. Good grief. Yeah, this is the guy. I didn't recognize the stuff up here, and I was like, wait, no, not him. But no, it is him. Okay, so really, really cool stuff that he does. And one of the things that he goes through and focuses on is using ZBrush as a means of creating. I can't believe I'm not following him. Good grief. Sorry, Mike, if you're watching this. But he'll use the sculpture as a base to be able to create his illustrations. So this is painted, I think, in Photoshop, but he went through and he created his sculpt in ZBrush, and then he painted over the top of it. Let's see if he's got like. No, he doesn't have anything there. But yeah, that's how he does that. Really, really cool. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right. We're good. We're good. All right. Where did my status go? Okay. Let's refine this. Okay. So you took a teaching job in Japan. That's pretty cool. What kind of teaching? Are you teaching English, or did you go out to teach like a general ed class? Did you go out to teach something else? Let's kind of pull this. This is where we can go through and really start to figure out shape. Okay. No, dude, totally fine. It's totally fine. And if anybody else wants to chat, you're welcome to. But you know, it's just I like to chat. I like talking to people. Especially people with exciting lives that are from California and move overseas to Japan. Pretty cool. Good deal. No good Mexican food. Okay. So, teaching English, super easy to get an English job here, trying my best to learn Japanese enough to get work in the art field. That's pretty cool. There's a guy, I don't know actually where he's based. He's in Japan somewhere. But he does wood prints. And he does these very beautiful wood prints, wood block art prints. And he has a YouTube channel where he actually talks about how he makes those. Well, talks about, he demos it, you know. It's super, super cool. David, doggone it, I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, creating 3D references to draw is a good idea. It's actually a technique that I like, and that I want to be able to use more for illustration. You know, kind of like what I was saying with Mike Thompson. Something that I want to kind of get into more. Steve James is another one. He does. He goes through all the trouble making good clean topology. It's not like animation ready topology all the time, but it's really clean, really decent topology. Okay. And then he uses those characters to be able to form bases, so that he can pose and create, you know, all the characters for his books, whatever it is that he's working on. Really cool. And he's got some videos through Z Classroom. So if you look up on the YouTube channel for for Pixelogic, you'll be able to find him. Find Steve James. Okay. David Bull. You're absolutely right. That's him. David Bull. Yeah, I need to look him up. He's really cool. He's got a shop. He's got a crew of people that work with him and everything. It's really neat. Makes stuff with the new render stuff as soon as I get some time. Yeah, it's fun to play with. Little vignettes. So you're talking about like little story moments, or are you talking about? That's probably what you're talking about, right? Okay. Cool. Sorry, this part of the process just takes a while, and it's really all about just trying to make sure that it's what you want. Okay, so earlier we talked about insetting the bottom of the hand. So what I'm going to do, I have my Z modeler selected, and I'm just going around and I'm highlighting those bottom faces. And what ZBrush is going to do is it's going to take all of these faces that are highlighted with this alternative polygroup, and it's going to treat it like a single piece. So I can come over here, I can say under face, I can say inset, I can say a single poly is fine, inset region, okay, or I can say polygroup island, that'll also work, okay. Just go ahead and inset that like that. And this is where I decide whether or not I like what it did. Because part of what I wanted was to have this essentially be just like a, oh, you know what, let's just do this. Here's another trick for you. We're going to go edge loop, and we're going to say edge loop. Okay, so that created an edge loop going around that piece. Of course, I don't want it to displace them out. Say crisp. That's better. Okay, so now what we can do, I can hold control and tap on that and pull this out, and now you can see I'm getting that exact thing that I was trying to getting this edge loop that goes all the way around. Okay, so I'm just going to come over here, let's say deformation, just polish it, but that's too much. Stop it, maybe one. Yeah, one's good enough. Okay, so with some of these things, I want to make sure that the toes, I want to make sure that they are not too kind of stuck in here. Because I want the toes to keep looking like they have padding. The padding part is going to be pretty important to me. Okay. Come back over here and just keep tweaking this. Yeah, David Bull, Steve James, Mike Thompson. He does have videos up. I know that I've seen him go through his process some on ZBrush Live. I mean, he's a presenter as well. I can't remember when he presents. But you could look that up on the ZBrush Live website. You got some pretty cool presenters. me see. Okay, I'm trying to decide if I like that and if that's enough for me, or if I want to kind of pursue this a little bit further. And I think I want to, I have some things that I'm finding. I do have some points here that I need to add some extra topology, just to be able to better control the taper on the inside of these toes, like where it comes in here. This looks like it's probably alright, but some of these places, like over here, I think it could use some more control. So let's add insert, please. Or you know what? Let's not. Let's not. Here's what we'll do. Okay, so if we look at this right now, the way it is, I do need to add a little bit more. Okay, let's add in 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then we'll add in, 1 right there, 2, 3. Okay, cool. Okay, I'm just going to commit this to all one polygroup. Data pool, huh? Steve Johnson. These are names I haven't heard of. Data pool is a gateway to access the GDSN networks. Awesome. Just kidding. It's not a channel that I'm familiar with. Is it on YouTube? There's a Steve Johnson special effects artist on Wikipedia. Practically Magic. Oh, he's the one that does all the Flopsy models. Oh no, he does more than that too. Does all sorts of aliens and stuff. Crazy. Okay. Yeah, so this is Steve Johnson. I don't know if it's the right Steve Johnson that you were talking about, but he's got all sorts of like creatures, all sorts of everything. Is that the right Steve Johnson that you were talking about? Spicer, the stream is not complete unless you come in and cheer for me. Oh, yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Whack-a-moon. That's helpful. I know that it becomes kind of tough to just keep up with conversation and whatnot and remembering and the notes and everything if you're sometimes it's just not as important to or you're not fully capable of taking notes because you're indisposed or or you're in the shower. That happens to me way too often. Of course, I don't really watch the stream while I'm in the shower. I bet that you could if you had like one of those fancy new phones and stuff. Thanks, Bigamon. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It's fun. I come on, I have fun. That's what I do. Things are going pretty well tonight, Peter. How you doing? So what I'm working on tonight is just making sure that I get good clean topology so that it's easier for me to pose and to repose and to, you know, things like that. If I needed to be able to tweak things with my dragons, clean topology will help with that. Okay, I need to add in an edge loop right there. Let me see, what shows do you guys like to watch? Earlier somebody was talking about having watched Love, Death, and Robots. I haven't watched that one yet, but the art styles look really, really nice. Okay, let's see. Installing the latest OBS. Getting ready for some streaming. Yeah. The hard thing about coming up with an idea while you're in the shower is that it's, even if you do remember it, by the time you get out, it's never as cool when you by the time you get to write it down. Let me see, I need to take this part down. That's what needs to happen. The other thing is like, and this will be something that you probably don't have to deal with, because in Japan you probably get like public transportation and things like that. But you know, in LA, traffic. I'm fortunate that where I live, there isn't as much traffic as, you know, some other areas in LA that I've lived in. But yeah, so it allows me to be able to get to work and home in a fairly decent amount of time. I'm still far enough away from the city that it feels like, I mean, it's still big and developed, but it's, you know, it's far enough away from the city that it still feels like a suburb, you know, which I like. I grew up in a small town. Running makes files with brew install fun times. Yep. Yep, it's like when you have a world-changing idea in a dream, you wake up and realize it was some silly nonsense. What if we made the Pop-Tarts on the outside of the bag? That would be some silly nonsense, but it would change the world. No telling how, but, you know, it would change it. What time is it? 10:30. It's getting late. Hola, ghost. Yeah, LA traffic can be pretty terrible. Traffic in Dallas is like nothing. Oh my gosh. Like, I don't know if I've ever heard anybody ever complain about Dallas traffic, but if anybody ever were to complain about Dallas traffic, they need to get out more. My parents live just right outside of the Dallas airport. And I was actually born in Fort Worth. Lived there until I was about 6. My my grandma lives there currently. Neat lady. But yeah, so we love Texas, but alright. I'm gonna do the same sort of thing that I did with the bottom of the foot. Be able to make little insets for the talons. Okay. Holy crap. Not a big city person, yet here I am. So wait, which part of Japan are you living in now? Yeah, Thomas, yeah. Do the shower brilliance all the time and completely forget to rinse off. Oh, forget by rinse off. I thought you were like saying, yeah, to heck with it. I'm just gonna leave the soap on me. I'm just gonna jump out of the shower and I'm gonna keep this idea. Okay. Because I've done that before, actually, where it's like, you know what? I work hard for my ideas. I need to keep this one. I need a win. Okay, so right now I'm just kind of, I'm using the move brush, and if I hold Alt, it allows me to push in and out with along the normals. Really super cool trick. I learned it like several years ago when I was working doing fine art sculpture. I like this stuff much better, but fine art sculpture. So I was doing a whole bunch of prototyping and things like that. Anyway, one of the people I worked with, brilliant artist, Hugh Mccollum. He actually has a game out on Steam that he made kind of on his own time. He has his own little gaming company that he runs. I haven't been able to keep up with him very much though. Really, really nice guy. If anybody ever gets out to like E3 or anything like that, he's sure to be there. What is it? What was the name of the game that he made? It was Tiki Run, something like that. Really, really cool little game. I remember seeing it. It has something to do with tikis. I just can't remember the name. So, sorry. Yeah, nice guy. Anyway, he taught me that trick. So, you know, quickly I'm able to get something kind of resembling what I need. Downtown Tokyo. Doctor Who episode about Pop-Tarts. Oh my gosh, yeah, that'd be funny. It doesn't take much to change the world. It's really kind of true. Soon we'll have the Elon Musk tunnels. Dude, it blew my mind that was happening. I'm curious to know about progress. I mean, the video that I watched about it was talking about how they were in the process of tunneling under LA, and that was from 2 years ago. So I can't imagine that they're a ton further than where they were, because they're talking also about like making new machines to be able to, you know, tunnel. To be able to tunnel more quickly, more efficiently, because the machines that they're using is, you know, they're a lot slower than they would want them to be in order to make the amount of tunneling that they're wanting to make, you know. So it's really, really interesting about that whole idea about the tunnels and the elevators kind of going in and down. Don't be a quitter. I won't. Never give in, never surrender. Here's a question. Toasted or untoasted Pop-Tart guy? Dude, it depends. Because sometimes the modest compliment for grandma. It depends on what the flavor of the Pop-Tart is, the crispiness of the crust, if that complements the flavor. I'm just kidding. So yeah, you go through and try to figure that out. Yeah, whiteboard for the shower. I've actually thought about that. You know, getting like a dry erase marker for the shower. Yeah, lots of people in Tokyo, but at least it's clean, right? That's like huge. The Alt key. Yeah, so the Alt key. So right now I have my move brush, and you'll see this is just to be able to kind of illustrate this. So if I use my move brush, okay, not hitting the Alt key, it's just kind of moving it side to side. It's moving it parallel or perpendicular, I guess, with your camera. Okay. So now if I hold Alt and click it, it's moving it in and out, perpendicular to the mesh. Okay. So that's like chocolate chip Pop-Tart. It's funny, I would have expected something like that from Ghost of Christmas Future. Chocolate chip Pop-Tart. But at least you live in Texas, so you know you can do that. Right? You're the one that was saying that you're from Dallas, right? Waterproof notebooks are a thing, yes. Okay, so with the arm like this, okay, I'm gonna call that good. And here's what we're gonna do. Let's hit D just to see what it is that it looks like. I don't like that crease, so let's get rid of it. That's not a purpose. Like that's not a crease that I did on purpose. It's just something that happened when I extruded or Q-meshed or whatever it is. No, when I inset, that's what I did. Crease, uncrease all. Okay, so that's getting me a little bit better. Okay, I'm just going to kind of go through here. I want to get an extra little bit of a pad on these toes. Yeah, Alt key. The Alt key, and the Alt key does a lot of things. So it depends on what tool you're using, what brush you're using, whatever, but the Alt key will give you an alternative function. So, do they have anti-Pop-Tarts? No, they don't. Although, no, just kidding. Yeah, let's do this. Let's say Q-mesh, single poly. We'll just kind of pull it up a little bit. And then we'll say inset. Let's say polygroup all. Okay, just to make sure we get that. And then we can kind of get rid of these just to see kind of what it looks like. Of course, we could have just looked at what it looked like before it got rid of them and then see if it's worth getting rid of them. And be honest, I can't remember the last time I saw a Pop-Tart. Or a Walmart. Just kidding. I actually know where there is a Walmart. So I lied. Okay, let's see. Let's see about move polygroup. Or we could just use the extrude polygroup all. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to work out, yeah, that looks better. But I was trying to work out more of what these pads should look like, because it wasn't really jiving for me. I don't know. It's kind of tricky. Cool. Well, guys, I've almost finished one arm, which is fine because then I've got, you know, 4 arms. Okay, so now that we've got this, I am going to do this, Control W, okay, and now we gotta just kind of gotta get rid of that, Control W again, and this will give us some polygroups to be able to help control, like our to be able to, you know, make for easier so I could go through like this and just really quickly be able to manipulate how the arm's posed. I'm losing my words. Never seen a wall tart. That should be a thing. Okay, so let's turn that off. You can come down here to the talons. Let's kind of come down here to this elbow region. We'll rotate. Is that a police copter flying over? Probably. There's a bit of a delay between when I'm actually recording and when you guys actually see the video, and the gap, the delay seems to be a lot bigger for YouTube than any other platform. Maybe Facebook is actually longer. But yeah. I do get a lot of, what's it called? Helicopters. Because yes, it is LA. Come here. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Okay, so I'm just going to color sample from that. gonna come over to our arm. Let's just say color, fill object. That is so dumb. Okay. Fill object. And then for these, let's take a say color fill object, just for the sake of having contrast. For now, that's kind of. The dragons have large talons. What was it that was? There's a quote like that, but I can't remember where it's from. Where is it from? Okay, so for these arms, these aren't. In fact, we need to make sure that they're pretty even. Let's. I've got too many edge loops going in between there. It's always so funny. I mean, there's so much back and forth. Okay, so for right now, I guess we'll just focus on getting this to be the right position. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. That should be fine. Okay, so for this, I can just use slide edge loop partial and just kind of wiggle it back and forth a little bit. Yeah, guys, this is where it starts to become something. That's what it was. Napoleon Dynamite, yep. Gosh. Okay, cool. So that's going to work. Now, with the head, we can take this last loop and pull it out to be able to create our body. Now, one of the things that I want to do is I don't need this much topology coming out. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, well, I mean, eventually I can get, when I get down to like the clavicle region, I can kind of resolve some of these loops on here on the bottom. You know what? I don't need that upper resolution. Just get rid of it. Okay, so some of the things that I'm wanting to be careful with. Okay, I need to make sure that no matter really where I pull out this body, I need to make sure that it doesn't intersect with like where the horns go. So one of the things I can do is let's go in here and we'll insert single edge loop. So this is one thing I could do, but watch what happens. It's not giving me this nice straight edge. I kind of want the straight edge. So I'm just going to come over here with my slice and boom, nice straight edge coming right down. We like that. Okay. So now, if I hold Control and move this out, it's going to leave an edge loop behind every time I drag it out. And I think, let me see if I can remember this trick. this trick. What is the trick? There's something where it's like you could go through and you could essentially pull it out. How does it go? I don't know. What? Either way, whatever. I don't need it. I don't need it. I'll just drag this out. This will be fine. Okay. So what I'm trying to look at, what I'm trying to figure out now, I need to figure out kind of the length. So right now, let's just kind of take it and roughly lay it out. Okay, just so that it's somewhat comparable in length. Let's get these kind of taken care of. Okay, so we're going to pretend that's about what I need. Okay, this is kind of acting as a template for me. Okay, from this view, it looks like a churro. Pardon me. Okay. Okay, so now we need to go through, I'm going to say, I need to resolve some of these things up here. So what we're going to do is let's hit delete single poly. Let's get rid of some of these things. Okay. I'm going to say collapse edge. That went too far. Let's do that. Do it like this. This way we can go ahead and we can just say bridge two edges, and there we go. Okay, so now we've got this flow going on there. It's not exactly how I want it, but it's good enough for right now. I did see that Joe got promoted. That was awesome. Got awarded, got everything. I mean, the dude's a total stud. I mean, of course he's going to get promoted, right? Joe is money. Oh, it's super cool. Super cool to have heard that. So yeah, anybody on here who doesn't know who Joe Mena is, now is as good a time as ever to find out. So Joe Mena does money for the, like, he sculpts coins for the US Mint, and he does awesome work. He also does stuff for Sideshow Collectibles, things like that. But yeah, the dude is super humble, really nice guy. If you ever have the opportunity to go up to the He likes to go out to the Comic Cons. The what's the one that he goes to? The San Diego. Yeah, and he did that Catwoman for Sideshow. He did some stuff for Star Wars, things like that. The trick I was trying to remember. I'll have to see if I can remember what that trick is. Do you remember what the context was? But yeah, Joe, look him up. Joe Mena. Thomas Whittlesback went through and he typed it in there, so it'll be showing up over here on the video, just like right up there. Let's see. It's stitch 2 points. Stitch that. Save on your own time. I wonder, is there... that does something different though. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna bridge. Okay, so let's slide these up here. It's kind of funny how the effect of the sliding the vertices kind of gets amplified. So actually, let's get rid of that. I don't need that. Never mind. I take that back. I need it for a second. I lost my thought. Dude. Yeah, so he does all sorts of stuff. I mean, he has done all sorts of stuff. Yeah, and he's totally worth following and knowing and all of that. Really nice guy. He's one of my best friends. Super nice guy. I really enjoy every opportunity I get to meet up with him and hang out. He came out recently to be able to visit with the guys over at Sideshow, but I didn't get to hang out with them that time, sadly enough. Okay. Come on, you. No. There we go. Insert. Sometimes it gets a little bit tricky and it doesn't want to handle everything that you want it to do. Yeah, he's super cool. He is super cool. What was I doing? Stitch. Wanted to stitch the points. Okay, we're good. We're getting somewhere. We're making some progress of some sort. See, that's that split. Slide, please. Let's do something like that. We're gonna need to get rid of this one too. Let's go insert single loop. Bridge these bad boys together. Okay, bridge those together. Okay. And then here's this loop that needs to be resolved. So we're just gonna go in here. We're gonna insert. Okay, so here's one of those things, remember how I was talking about I don't like having these sorts of edge loops. I don't like having them kind of, jostled like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit transpose, edge loop complete, and that'll mask everything except for that edge loop. So now I can just come over here and we'll just scale until this is nice. Okay. Alright. It's already turning out much, much nicer. Which means I also want to get rid of this. Just because it'll be easier for me to just go through and pull out again from this section rather than trying to make the rest of what I already have work. And it didn't really do anything on that other section, so it's just easier to start over. It's getting late. Probably ought to hit the hay soon. And my wife's waiting on me, so I want to make sure that I don't cheat either of us out of too much of our beauty sleep, because, well, she doesn't need beauty sleep. I sure do. C'est la vie, mon ami. Okay, let's kind of pull this in or something like that. I'm an hobbyist. Well, I mean, if you were British, we wouldn't hold it against you. For too long. Kind of like those colors together. It's kind of like fancy, like sporty. Okay, so let's see, right here, let's go ahead and we'll hit insert. Let's insert some loops right along here for kind of like right one on the middle of the arm. Shoot, come on. Okay, something you can do is that if your actions are bugging you, if they're too easy to hit certain things, like right now it's too easy for me to hit a polygon, I can just change it from delete to do nothing, and now literally it'll do nothing. That is so helpful. Anyway, so now I can come in here and add in extra edge loops. It's getting late. Okay, let's get that in there. We'll add in one more. Let's see, it's scale. Edge loop partial, sure. Partial and complete in some instances will do the same thing. Okay, so it's not a huge deal which one I choose in this case. Okay, let's do that. What I want to do is I want to make sure that this is centered in here. Okay, and then I want to, if I scale like this, it's going to scale out. Okay, but if I start scaling and then hold Alt, it's going to scale out in every direction except that direction, which is comparable to the old transpose line if you're a legacy user, which is actually what I used to use a lot, is the transpose line, and I still use it. I find it extremely helpful, so it's definitely worth looking into. You can get it to it by turning on your gizmo and then turning off the little gizmo icon. So lots of things here that you can play with, okay? Really, really cool. I'm not gonna worry about going into it right now though. Yeah, it is 11 p.m. It's already after midnight in Mexico. Man. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I mean, this is something I'll probably finish working on the dragon maybe in my own time if I can get any of that. I don't know that I will. But yeah. Yeah, time to turn it off. But I just feel so on topic. It's always so hard to want to go to bed when you're working on something that you're feeling very into. Learn to let go, Steven. Learn to let go. You can bring your Z intensity down some on your smooth. Anyway, time to go. Well, I don't get into trouble. It's just that we don't sleep. We don't sleep if I don't turn off the machine. So yeah, just a lesson that I'm trying to work on learning. The importance of sleeping. That and exercise. I need to get better at exercise. Getting some cardio in. Okay, I'll work on the shape more as I get more topology in there. For right now, this is good enough. Okay, I'm pretty sure a cool thing that they did with the mirror and weld is that they fixed it so that it doesn't matter which side your geometry is on. It used to be that you had to have it on a certain side in order for it to work, but computer's the opposite of sleep. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. I'm done. We're done. We're gonna call it good now. Okay, he is being saved. He is going into the Candyland folder. Dragon B2. Save. Okay, replace it. Yes. Cool. But yeah, anyway. That'll be nice. It'll be fun. It'll be great. It'll be excellent. So much fun. Great. Okay. Well, thanks guys for coming out and hanging out with me. I know it's kind of a long process getting topology and everything kind of worked out, but it'll all be excellent in the end. So it's just kind of part of the process. Take a little bit of a break. Next week we'll be able to hopefully get more into posing the real dragon, you know, being able to get, like, I like this guy down here in the bottom. This guy right here, I think it's hilarious how he's like, the hero is like stepping on his snout, and I have no idea what this hero is gonna look like. Well, I still need to figure that out. But yeah, just kind of the ideas there. So that'll be fun. And then next week I might go through some, trying to play with ZRemesher and see about getting some good clean topology on here. Topology that I could go ahead and UV and then sculpt. So yeah, we'll call that next week. So yeah, that's where we're at. That's where we're gonna leave it. So thanks for tuning in, and thanks for putting up with my ramblings and for chatting and for everything, because you're great. Okay, so anyway, make sure you tune in to other streamers. There's some great streamers coming up, and if you go to the Pixelogic channel, in fact, let's pull it up. Let's pull this up. Okay, so there's Mike Thompson's stuff. Pixelogic.com. Community, ZBrush Live. Okay, you can scroll down, you can see like all sorts of stuff. Oh hey, look at that, I'm live. That's kind of fun. It's kind of weird to see me scrolling through the page that I'm scrolling on. Anyway, so all sorts of stuff. You get everything from Sebastian Higo to Shane Olson, Anna Carolina, Donna. Donna is awesome. She does awesome, excellent stuff. Brett Briley. And if you want to be able to see specific presenters, or if you want to, you can come over here to presenters. You can see the broadcast calendar too. Okay, so you can browse by specific people. Thomas, this guy right here, he was on here earlier. My buddy Eamon is really cool. Anna, Mike Thompson, okay, Tony Leonard, Joseph Drust, all sorts of really, really cool people. Broadcast calendar, this is where we can go in, we can figure out, okay, so today's March 20th, Mike Thompson was streaming earlier today, then we had Ashley Adams right before me, and then, there's me. So, here's tomorrow, we get Pablo Munoz, he is awesome, and Oscar Trejo. Oh, yeah, it looks like Oscar streams in English. Okay, pretty cool. Pablo also streams in English, he's living in Australia, and he turns out projects like that. He's a really, really good one to listen to. So anyway, yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'll be back in a week. Next Wednesday, same place, same time. Unless you decide to watch from a different place, then just wherever you want to be, I guess. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.